Hello, everyone. Welcome to Therapy Clips with Dr. O. Our topic for today will focus on understanding whether or not we have mastered the skill of setting boundaries and standing up for ourselves in an assertive manner. So, in anger management, we talked about aggression versus assertiveness. Now we're going to focus on understanding whether or not we mastered the skill of being assertive. So let's begin by looking at the 7 steps to understanding whether or not you feel comfortable with being assertive. Number 1, you can say no without feeling guilty. Now, this is one of those situations where it can be awkward from time to time to say no when you really, really want to. Well, make a decision. If this is what is really going on within you, within your mind, and within your heart, to say no, you can say no in many ways and not offend the next person. You can say, no, I am so sorry. I'm busy today and I can't do it. You can say, no, I really don't feel as though that is something I should do. No, I am so very sorry, but I want no involvement with that situation. In that way, you're not being offensive to the next person. So, you may also wonder, well, what if I miss out on something? Make a decision whether or not missing out on that something that you think may benefit you is really valuable to you. Is it something that you really need to have? Or you really want it to be a part of your life? And then ask yourself the question, what is the cost of my involvement in the situation? The next thing you can do is communicate your limits clearly. Your limits are your boundaries that's internal to you. We can't expect the next person to understand exactly what our limits are. We must communicate effectively to the individual or individuals that we have contact with to allow them to understand what our limits are. So we want to be direct. We want to be clear on what those boundaries are so that we can help people to understand us a little bit more effectively. This doesn't mean that you're going to be cruel, mean, harsh, or confront the person in a negative way. In a matter of fact, what you will do in order to help yourself to be more effective is to be assertive. Being assertive means that you are respectful in your delivery of the message. It can be clear, concise language that focus on your needs and your feelings rather than accusing or blaming someone. So, you can say, I need to set a boundary with you. This boundary is personal to me. I do not want to offend you. I have so much respect for you. But at the same time, it's crossing a boundary that I have. It's personal to me. And so if you say it in that way, and you act in a consistent manner to what you've said, then the person will begin to understand you and what your boundaries are. Number 3, do not over-explain your choices. You have made a choice. You have made a decision that's right for your life. So you owe no explanation. If it's something that doesn't sit well with you, then you say only, I decided that is not the correct path to go down. Or I don't feel as though I should entertain it any further. Please respect me and allow me to not further delve into this conversation. And so that way, you're making it very, very clear without having to go into this long, detailed explanation as if you're apologizing for your action. Once again, you only need your own approval. External approval, you don't need. You're just setting your boundaries and standing on your decision. So let's move on into whether or not you have to face pushback from another individual because they may not understand or like your position. Please handle any pushback that you receive with grace, with dignity, with respect, with honor. This means that you are standing firm on your decision, but you are also maintaining your composure. You are very much engaged in listening to the other person's concern and acknowledging their feelings, but you are also calmly affirming your very own boundaries. So, I hope you understand that in this transaction with another person, you are not to respond in a defensive manner, but you are to use empathy. Empathy means that you are bringing understanding to yourself about the situation, and you are communicating understanding to the next individual. Please be selective with your energy. You can't pour from an empty cup. So that means if you're tired, if you feel like it's not the right time to have the conversation, you can say, I am so tired. It is not time to have this conversation. I do know it. I want to have this conversation with a clear mind and a clear spirit. So please, can we do this another time? And so hopefully you're not going to expend negative energy into the situation, but are going to maintain positivity. You have to understand that all battles are not worth fighting. So understand and know which battles are worth fighting. Not every situation, invitation, or request deserves your time or attention. Also, we're at number 6 now. Trust your own instincts. Get a feel for the environment. Get a feel for the mood of the people you're interacting with. Trust your own instincts. Please practice so that you can master boundary setting. Make sure that everything appears logical to you. If it doesn't, ask for clarification. That way, you can understand a little bit further whether or not the situation is right or wrong for you to have a conversation about. Listen to your inner voice. If it feels like it's not harmonious and it's really pushing your own boundaries and value system, if it feels that it is not within your comfort zone, please make sure that you excuse yourself until a later time to have the conversation. Because if all of these conditions aren't met, personal values, harmonious, comfortable, then it's not the right time to have the conversation. And the final point for today, as far as setting boundaries are concerned, is respect other people's boundaries. Other people come with their own set of rules of how they operate. We want to make sure that it is a give and take situation. We want to honor the boundaries that other people set for themselves. It is done with mutual respect for one another so that a creative and a healthy dynamic can occur in a relationship. With that being said, now I want to move into our cards for today. These cards are therapeutic in value, and so I want you to understand that in everything that we do, we must build strength. One card down. The next thing is remember to nourish your own temple. You do that by having the correct energy when you go into conversations with people. You don't want to impede on someone else, and you most certainly don't want someone to impede on you. We need to do everything in love, kindness, and respect for one another. We nourish our temple by meditating and praying before we go into very tense situations. We do not want these situations to go in the wrong direction. So we recognize that other people have feelings just as well as we do. We want it to be a win-win situation for everybody. So some negotiation is going to take place. Be respectful even if you don't disagree. You can voice your disagreement in a respectful manner. Next, it would be a good idea to journal your feelings about any situation that you embark upon that doesn't sit well with you. That way, you can get these feelings out, and you can also evaluate these feelings so that you can think about what you're going to say in order to get your point across, but also to have positive outcomes. When you journal, you are actually clearing your energy field. Your energy field is your feelings, your emotions about the situation. Everything that has to do with you is of value. And you have a right to your feelings. It is not the feelings that you have that will ever be the issue. It is the way you communicate those feelings in a way to help people understand your position. Remember to be assertive and not aggressive. Do not be angry by verbal means or physical means, but be assertive and say, "Can I humbly and respectfully present my position?" I want you, with this final message, to understand that you are to be a voice, not an echo. What that means is when you're respectful, people hear you. They want to listen to your position. But when you're screaming, you're using curse words, you're being disrespectful, hanging up on people, walking out the door when they're talking to you in a negative way, well, guess what? You're just an echo. No one wants to hear you. So be a voice, not an echo. With that being said, I want to thank you for your time today. And all our points have been made. So I was just looking over some things to make sure I covered every base, and I did. And so now I want to be